So now, even though the sun's moving around in this counterclockwise way in our natal chart, and day to day, the sun moves within the day around the chart the other way. It goes from the third house, second house, first house, 12th, 11th, 10th, gets to noon, comes down to sunset. So you have the rising half of the day, getting up and going to work. So when the sun's going through that half of the year, your mornings and your accentuation, what you're projecting is going to be far more important. Like on the side here, it says rising confidence. So when the sun's from the midheaven to the ascendant to the IC, it's about rising confidence. But it's funny because it's moving from the peak point, the rising social confidence, of what you're having to do, and the importance is out there. And then it comes to me, I did it. That's what I did. And then you start to feel motivated. You start to internalize it more and more as the sun comes down to the IC. You get your own personal inner depths or motivation. This is the inner confidence. When the sun is there, it's hitting your innermost confidence. That's really the beginning, the beginning of the cycle, the IC. Right there from your inner motivation. Then once you get that affirmation at home, personally within yourself, you feel affirmed by that. It's going to be the same month every year. So where's your IC? My IC is in Scorpio. So it's on my IC this week. So I just had my birthday last month. The sun hits my birthday, I get affirmed, and then it comes in and takes it down to my IC. I'm really enhancing what motivates me or my personal, not where I fit in, but I'm feeling empowered or enhanced or radiated or confident in my own inner world. I'm often feeling more disturbed by other people coming in while this is going on. So then once I got this, I'm pumped up in my own inner confidence. I'm working on my own thing. I'm trying to use that affirmation to play with it, to get things out that I can do. Or I start stretching this a little bit more. But by the time it gets to the descendant, I start reacting to other people. I'm taking feedback from other people, responding to other people. So then that by getting that affirmation or not affirmation, that feedback from other people, you're reacting to others. And as you react to others successfully or not successfully, confidently or not, by reacting to others, they put you into a position of respect. So in one way, the rising side is seeing what we have to do to push out to get to our position, what we have to do to get the career, to get the job, get this done. We're projecting out the rising confidence. I'm doing this, I'm going to do this. But the reacting confidence, let me do this for you. Oh, you need this, I'll help you here, I'll do this for you. And often it's that reactive confidence as the sun's going from the 7th house up to the midheaven, from the descent up to midheaven, that reactive confidence, reacting to others, is what's building your status and position up. So when the sun's on the midheaven, it's pointing towards the outer confidence. The sun's on the IC, it's pointing towards your inner confidence. And they kind of oppose it. When you're thinking so strongly about yourself with the sun on the ascendant, you're not thinking about others with the sun on your descendant. When you're thinking about others with the sun on the descendant, you're not accentuating your ascendant so much. These balances going on, but this rising setting is really significant. You see the texture. You can see this in a calendar. You can see it going across. It becomes instinct. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but it's good to go over this to start with. Okay, so that's the basic setup of it. We could spend, we may come back to this if we have more time, but I want to go into a few other things around this now. So basically, when I learned astrology, the first 20 years of my astrological career, there were not computers. The book was the computer, it was the database, and you had to go into the book and get the information out and look at it and see it and then write it down or mark it. And so my foundation was very much looking up, watching it, being able to use the ephemeris, being able to calculate things and convert it from the data and the thing to the time in my life when something was happening. Oops. Okay, something's wrong here. Let me just get back to this. Here we go. Okay, so when we're calculating, when you run off on nowadays, no one calculates these things. You just run them off and you get the whole list in front of you. So this is this I did for 2019. I just took my sun and I took the transits of the sun to my natal chart and I ran them all off. And I include the conjunctions, the squares, the opposite, but I included the sextiles and the trines. I just put all the major aspects in it when it goes into each house. when it goes through the signs. So when you get it, it's just a long list of things that doesn't make any sense. It's hardly useful. So even if you get a printout, you have to work the chart. You have to highlight it. You have to make it alive. So when you look at it, it's in perspective. You can see things. So the first thing I did on my printout, I took the yellow and I highlighted when the sun changed sign. When the sun was in Aquarius, I put all the aspects that happen, all the suns in Aquarius. When it goes into Pisces, puts all the aspects when the sun's in Pisces, then in Aries. So I ran this out as 2 pages for a year or a page and a half for the year. But I can now look at it for any month and I can see immediately, well, that's this month without losing it. I get the focus in it. And then once you're inside the Taurus or the Gemini, what sign the sun is in, you can see the sequence of the aspects and which aspects are going on, and that gives you the dates for it. Well, if you do it for every year, it's good. Like these aspects are going to be on the same date, maybe the day, 1 day out, but it's going to be about the same time that these things happen every year. It's a regular pattern. So these are dates. You can take these dates and just transfer. If you have a calendar. We all have our calendar for dates and events. I use an astrological calendar. I always have. So I have these things already in the calendar. But if you had a working calendar for when to make appointments, when not to make appointments, when you're trying to do things, and you write these things in the corner of a page, in the corner of each page for each day. Wow, what useful information that gives you for setting up appointments, for making it on better times and worse times, or for aligning this energy. You see when the challenges to your confidence, you see when the affirmations for your confidence are coming in, and it tunes you in a whole different way with your chart. So then on the printout, I then took a different color and I highlighted what here the sun opposed the ascendant. That's the sun conjuncting the descendant. So I marked it on February 23rd. My sun went over my descendant. And as it went into Pisces, it was going to climb up to the midheaven. So it went along. That's the midheaven. But then it goes down in August 28th. It comes out, the sun's out of my 12th house, hits my ascendant, and it begins my subjective half again. So that I just marked those two in so I can see those. Then in blue, I marked when it hit the midheaven and when it opposed the midheaven. So this way I can see the things happening each day of each month. But then I can also see when it's going above the horizon. And I can see the focus is shifting. In February, it starts shifting, going above the descendant, hits the descendant, it's moving up to the midheaven by April. So I'm trying to accomplish things, get things done. I'm working hard to try and get things done as the sun comes up to the midheaven. Now I could have gone on this and highlighted it and marked in, well, okay, on this, I'll just do that for a second. So let's just take it red. If I wanted to mark in when the sun opposed itself, okay, or when the sun conjuncted itself, where are we here? Sun conjuncts the sun. Okay, and the square to the sun. Up here, here's the square to the sun. So I could highlight these in different colors. Just on a printout, you just use a highlighter, but on the so, okay, now you've got the main 4 factors. We've got the angles, we've got the signs, and we've got the conjunction squares and oppositions to the sun, just marked on this whole sheet of all the other data. That's the main factor. Then, if you wanted to see just Mercury ones, you could do highlight. You want to see when it hits hit the Neptune ones or the Mars ones, you go and mark those 4 in, those points in when they come in. But this is what I would call an organized solar calendar. You got it organized, and it's made it easier to read. Like if you just have a phone book and you have all the names, it's easy to lose focus and make mistakes. So anchoring and highlighting things, so you're breaking up the sheet of information to sections that you can see easily. That makes it easy and fun to use. So if you print this out, you go get 3 highlighters and you mark up your sun sheet, and you got it, and you keep it beside your calendar. Now there are calendars you can get that do this, put your chart and put these factors on your chart for each day. So if you get the Matrix Pro, the WinStar Pro, which I use, and I've used for these classes, this is from that. You also get a, what is it called? The Day Watch. And that's the calendar that will give out, that'll print out these things, but it'll also print out a calendar. Just do this in a second. Here's Day Watch. It makes the calendar, and okay, I gotta put, okay, just someone's trying, but it puts a calendar. It shows you the signs when the moon changes sign. It tells you all the aspects. The blue one lines are the aspects from the planets, from the sun, and from all the other planets in that day that are touching me. And it tells you the transits that are happening onto each other, just what's happening in the world around you in the black lines. And it adds on the progressions and it puts them all in, and it shows you the new moons and the full moons. So this calendar sheet, I use this. I always use these. When this program first came out, I was buying these calendars for 20 years. Circle book calendars, not the big fancy ones with the pictures, but this one's really, or I like this one because it's organized day to day. I stick it up on the wall. It's easy to see the page and see what's going on in a glance. So that is usually doing our solar aspects and all the other aspects as well. But we're just looking at this. So then you could put your appointments against the background of that, and you'd really have the ability to make when to set up appointments, when to have a party, when to not. You enhance it. Okay, now we're going to take to another stage here. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to come to here. Now this is this next thing I want you to do. It's going to be some calculations. Okay, I want you to now. Oh, okay, 1 second. I got to set something up here. I got to choose a file. I'm going to drag and drop a file into here.